When Jesus observed social distance, it was for a purpose. It was because he wanted to pray. He did that so that he could pray. And so when people now say you should observe social distance, it has its own purpose. It is for health and safety purpose. Health and safety purpose. So that you can remain healthy. So that you will not have any reason to be running helter-skelter. There are people who have said, why should they tell us to observe social distance in the church? The reason why the church could even be open now at all is because there had not been a case from anybody who can say, it is in the church I was infected. If anybody was infected in the church, they will shut that church for 1 year. Important. The time we are living in requires that we are wise. You are in your place of work. Observe this issue of social distance. It's important. I was just reading on the web of the president of a certain nation, the outgoing president of a certain nation in Africa here, who had served successfully for all these several years. They have already conducted election. It was time for him to hand over. He will be handing over maybe about 2 or 3 months' time. Then he packed off. COVID-19. The wife has also been in isolation. Almost every member of their family. Today, I was reading of another person. 2 medical doctors. Their son died of COVID-19. 2 medical doctors. Don't take chances with your life. I am not here to make you afraid. You know I'm not the kind of person who is ever afraid. No, never. My faith can carry COVID-19. I don't know about all of you. So that's important. So some people will say, why is it that our pastor is obeying them? Your pastor will obey them because I don't know your own faith level. It is only my own faith level that I know about. Mark 1:35, and in the morning, rising up a great while before day, he went out and departed into a solitary place. And there prayed. He prayed alone. And his disciples had to come and search for him before they found him. That was his pattern of living. Every morning, very early, he had already turned it to a program. You must have a program for your life now, at this time. Have a program. This season is saying something to you different from what you were used to. Have a program for your prayer life. Develop it. From so time to so time, I want to be in the presence of the Lord. I want to pray. I want to seek the face of God. Solo praying mode. We have decided to be having our night vigil every Friday. But that is just once a week. And that's just for 1 hour. Is that what is going to mark your prayer life? So if there is no prayer online, then you don't pray. No. Every single day, you must have your own solo praying. Every single day. You must pray. You must pray alone. You must develop that ability to pray alone. That is the reason why you will see everyone who had ever walked with God, they spend time in the presence of God. In fact, time will lose its relevance for them because they know they have to be alone with him. That takes me to the next thing. You must awake to solitude. Not just should you be in a place of prayer, you must be in a place of solitude. Solitude is seclusion for the purpose of seeking God. God allowed this season so that some of us will be forced to seek him the way we have never sought him. seclusion for the purpose of seeking God. It's a time to be alone with God for the purpose of receiving clarity about several issues that you are going through. There are several issues on which you need answer from God and you have not received up till now. Solitude will solve that. That's the reason why Isaiah chapter 40 from verse 29, Isaiah 40:29 says, He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, He increaseth strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. A day that waits, and take note of that word wait, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Jesus Christ experienced that solitude for him to be able to know the will of God. He went to the place of prayer praying, but he was also waiting to hear what God would say. Solitude. He prayed and prayed, oh Lord, let this cup pass over me. Oh Lord, let this cup pass over me. And somewhere along the line, he understood the will of God. Listen to me. When you go to the place of prayer and fasting and waiting upon the Lord, it is not every time that God will do your will. It is his own will he will do. Does that make sense? Do you know that many of us will think that if we fast very well, God will just change his mind? I have discovered that that is not somebody who understands God. When you go to the place of solitude, you might discover he refused to change his mind. In fact, what he will do is that he will help you to accept his will. That's what he did for his son Jesus. Oh Lord, let this cup pass over me. There are people who are looking for a certain man to marry. And God is pointing them to a certain man that they should marry. Oh God, I don't want to marry this one you are pointing me to. It is this one I want to marry. And you fast for 40 days and 40 nights. At the end of the 40 days and 40 nights, God will give you the grace to accept to marry the person he wants you to marry. Because he won't change his mind. Solitude. The prophets of old were always on the mountain. Why? Because that is where they know the will of God. You want to know the will of God for your life? Experience solitude. Separate yourself from this noisy world. The world has been constructed in a way, what we call civilization, is made in such a way that you will never have time for God. Never. If you are on satellite television, you are going from one studio, from one station to another station, from one station to another station. Hundreds of stations to choose from. Different kind of movies to watch. African and Bollywood and Nollywood and Hollywood. You are going from one to another. You can sit down from now till the next morning. And all you are doing is just watching television. Because civilization doesn't want you to seek God. And many of us might think, oh, that is what it means to be enlightened. No. If you are not careful, you will miss the purpose of God for your life by sitting before television. I've told you the story of a man of God who had that God was giving a ministry to. God was actually changing his ministry. He was a pastor in a local church and he was doing well. He was enjoying his work. Until one day, when on television he saw some boys in New York who were taken to the courtroom because they were dealing in drugs. So as he was watching, the Holy Spirit told him, do something about it. So he left because he had heard that they are going to bring them back to court again. He left and he went to court. The next day, on the day that they were bringing them back to court. And so the man got there and he saw the boys. And he entered the courtroom. He told the judge that he had something to say. The journalists were looking at him and said, what concerns you about these boys? In fact, the journalists were making jest of him. They said, Pastor, raise up your Bible so that we can take your picture. He raised up his Bible. By the next morning, his picture was front page. Everything the devil could do to discourage him, the devil did it. And the man knew, I have a ministry here. The next thing that God told him to do, and this will shock you. As he was seeking the face of God to know what the next thing to do, God told him, sell your television. What kind of voice is that? If, for example, if I should call any of you now and say, oh, God said I should tell you that you should go and sell your television. Is that what I want to hear? I want to hear about the contract I'm bidding for. He was hungry. Okay, he said, okay, I will sell my television on only one condition. I will put out an advert. If nobody calls me by so time, then I will not sell my television. And he put a certain amount of money on it, a price, that nobody will want to buy second-hand television for that amount. If somebody does not come in by so time, and if the person begins to argue about the price, I will not sell my television. God said, no problem. So he put out an advert. And just few minutes to the time that he had set for God, his telephone rang. And the person said, I saw an advert and you said you are going to sell your television. I said, yeah. For how much? He mentioned the price. The person said, don't worry, I will pick it up. His television disappeared. So he knew this is God. My friend, wherever you are listening to me from, God is talking to you that this time is asking you to change your lifestyle. It cannot be business as usual again.